You believe confrontation is strength. You were taught that silence is weakness, that speaking up earns respect, that facing people head-on proves courage. That belief is a lie designed to expose you. In the real world of power, confrontation is not dominance, it is disclosure. It reveals your position, your emotions, your limits. And there are certain people who feed on that revelation. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He saw that some figures must never be challenged directly, not because they are superior, but because they are structured to win the moment you engage them openly. Power does not move loudly, it moves quietly, through pressure, through anticipation, through fear that never needs to announce itself. When you confront the wrong person, you are not asserting control, you are handing it over. You are stepping into a psychological trap where the outcome was decided before you opened your mouth. The predator does not need to attack when the prey walks willingly into its range. You live inside hierarchies, whether you admit it or not. Every room has an order. Every group has invisible ranks. Your nervous system recognizes this before your mind does. You feel it as tension, as hesitation, as that subtle tightening in your chest when someone enters the space and changes the temperature. Evolution trained you to sense dominance long before language existed. Those instincts still govern you. Machiavelli simply learned how to read them without illusion. Direct confrontation triggers ancient responses. It activates fight or flight, not reason. The moment you confront, you invite escalation, resistance, and retaliation. But more dangerously, you reveal intent. Intent is the most valuable currency in power games. The one who knows what you want controls the board. The one who stays unreadable controls you. Most people confront because they crave relief. They want emotional discharge. They want validation. They want to feel righteous. That craving is weakness. Power does not seek relief. Power seeks position. The powerful delay expression. They let others speak themselves into exposure. They watch patterns. They allow tension to mature until it becomes leverage. There are individuals who are immune to shame, to logic, to moral pressure. Confronting them does not correct behavior, it sharpens it. These people do not experience conflict as threat, they experience it as stimulation. Your anger feeds them, your arguments entertain them, your outrage confirms their importance, and once you confront them, you have already lost because you have accepted their frame. Machiavelli's rule was never about cowardice, it was about efficiency. Why strike armor with bare hands when patience can remove the armor entirely? Why announce opposition when silence creates uncertainty? Uncertainty is corrosive. It destabilizes egos. It forces mistakes. Direct confrontation does the opposite. It stabilizes your enemy by clarifying the battlefield. You must understand this. Not all victories happen in the open. Some are decided by absence, by refusal, by strategic distance. When you deny someone confrontation, you deny them oxygen. You deny them narrative control. You deny them the pleasure of reaction. And in that denial, you shift the balance without ever appearing to move. This is uncomfortable because it violates your conditioning. You were trained to equate action with noise, to equate strength with visibility. But predators do not roar before they strike. They wait. They let time weaken resistance. They let the environment do the work. Now you will see why certain people are structurally designed to dominate confrontation and why engaging them directly accelerates your own loss of power. This is where most intelligent people fail, not because they lack intelligence, but because they underestimate psychology.
The first type you must never confront directly is the one who outranks you in the hierarchy, whether officially or informally. This person does not need to win the argument. Their position wins it for them. Hierarchies are not maintained by logic. They are maintained by perception, by collective agreement, by fear of consequence. When you confront upward, you are not challenging an individual, you are challenging the structure that protects them. Your mind tells you that truth should override status. Reality disagrees. In primate societies, dominance is not debated, it is enforced. When a lower-ranking member shows open defiance, the response is not persuasion, it is punishment. Sometimes subtle, sometimes delayed, always inevitable. Machiavelli saw that rulers rarely destroy challengers immediately. They wait. They allow the challenger to relax. Then they remove them quietly, socially, economically, reputationally. Direct confrontation signals ambition. Even if you speak from morality, it is interpreted as a power move. You announce yourself as a threat, and once you are labeled a threat, everything you do is filtered through suspicion. Your mistakes become evidence, your silence becomes plotting, your presence becomes discomfort. You have not gained respect, you have painted a target. This is why silence above is often mistaken for loyalty. It is not loyalty, it is intelligence. The skilled operator never confronts power head-on. They erode it indirectly. They let others carry the message. They let time expose weakness. They align themselves with outcomes, not battles. They understand that hierarchy responds only to pressure it cannot identify. The second type is more dangerous because they often appear weak. This is the chronic victim, the one who thrives on persecution, the one who collects grievances like trophies. Confronting this person is psychological suicide. They do not hear accusations, they hear opportunity. The moment you confront them, they flip the script. You are no longer the aggressor in your own mind, but in the minds of observers, you become the villain. Victim personalities are experts in moral judo. They redirect force by exaggerating pain. They collapse emotionally, perform fragility, and trigger protective instincts in others. This is not conscious manipulation in every case. Often it is deeply ingrained conditioning. Their survival strategy is to appear harmed, and when you confront them, you supply the harm they need to justify their identity. Your logic dissolves against emotion. Your facts drown in tears, and afterward, you are left confused, drained, and subtly guilty, even when you were right. That guilt weakens you. It makes you hesitate next time. It trains you to self-censor. That is their power, not dominance, but contamination. Machiavelli would tell you this: never fight someone whose greatest weapon is moral outrage. You cannot win without appearing cruel, and appearing cruel is often worse than being wrong. The powerful understand optics. They understand that perception governs allegiance. The victim controls perception by controlling the emotional narrative. The third type hides behind chaos. This is the impulsive, aggressive, volatile individual. They thrive on reaction. They escalate instantly. They blur boundaries. When confronted, they do not defend. They attack, louder, faster, harder. They force you into a physiological state where reasoning collapses. Your heart rate spikes. Your voice changes. Your words shorten. You lose nuance. This is biological warfare. Stress hormones impair cognition. They know this instinctively. By overwhelming you, they gain the upper hand. Even if they lose the argument intellectually, they win the exchange energetically. Others remember your agitation, not your point. They remember their certainty, not your accuracy. Direct confrontation rewards their strategy. It teaches them that aggression works. It reinforces the behavior. Silence, distance, and delayed response break it. You cannot outshout chaos. You can only starve it. There is one final type, more subtle than all the rest, and confronting them directly is the most dangerous mistake of all. They do not react immediately. They observe, they catalog, they wait, and when they move, You do not see it coming. That is where this rule becomes absolute.
The fourth type is the strategist, the cold observer, the one who rarely reacts but never forgets. This person does not fight in the moment because the moment is never their battlefield. When you confront them directly, you believe nothing happened. No explosion, no argument, no visible resistance. That is the illusion. In reality, you have just been marked. Strategists do not respond emotionally because emotion would reveal intent. They let you speak. They let you expose your priorities, your limits, your emotional triggers. Every word you say becomes data. They store it, not to strike now, but to strike precisely later, when you are unguarded, when the environment favors them, when denial is plausible and damage is irreversible. This is the person Machiavelli feared and admired, the one who understands that power is most effective when it appears accidental, when consequences feel like coincidence, when harm cannot be traced to a single act. Direct confrontation gives them a clear map of your mind, and information is the sharpest weapon in any hierarchy. You must understand the deeper mechanism here. Confrontation creates symmetry. Two people facing each other appear equal, even when they are not. That appearance is dangerous. It tempts you to believe the exchange is fair. It never is. The one with patience always wins against the one with urgency, and confrontation is urgency made visible. Human beings are not moved by truth. They are moved by timing, by context, by social proof, by fear of loss. Strategists manipulate these forces quietly. They do not need to defeat you publicly. They only need to shift the environment so that you defeat yourself. Missed opportunities, subtle exclusions, whispered doubts, doors that stop opening. None of it dramatic, all of it devastating. Machiavelli's dark rule is not about avoiding conflict forever. It is about choosing the terrain. You never confront on ground chosen by your opponent. You never fight in the arena they control. Direct confrontation is almost always their arena. It rewards speed, confidence, volume, and emotional dominance. The silent players excel elsewhere. Silence is not passivity, it is compression. It stores energy. It forces others to project meaning onto your absence of reaction. Projection reveals more than speech ever could. People confess their intentions when they are unsure how you will respond. They fill the void with their fears, their plans, their insecurities. You simply listen. This is how power inverts. The one who appears disengaged becomes the axis around which others rotate. The one who refuses immediate confrontation becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability creates caution. Caution creates hesitation. Hesitation creates mistakes. This is not theory. This is behavioral psychology applied ruthlessly. But this rule has a cost. If you misuse it, you become invisible. If you rely on silence without strategy, you fade. If you withdraw without intention, you surrender space. Power requires presence, but not exposure. Influence, but not confession. Distance, but not absence. The mistake most people make is thinking this rule makes them superior by default. It does not. It makes them responsible. You must decide when to withhold and when to strike, when to allow pressure to build and when to release it. This is not for the impulsive. This is not for the emotional. This is for those who can endure tension without seeking relief. Your behavior trains others how to treat you. Every reaction you give becomes instruction. When you confront impulsively, you teach people that access to your emotions is easy. When you argue openly, you teach them that pressure works on you. When you explain yourself repeatedly, you teach them that you are available for negotiation. This is not respect, this is exposure. Machiavelli understood that power is less about what you do and more about what you allow.
When you stop confronting certain people directly, something subtle happens around you. The social environment recalibrates. People become cautious. They speak more carefully. They test less. Not because they fear your anger, but because they cannot predict your response. Unpredictability, when paired with restraint, creates psychological elevation. Most humans seek patterns. Patterns create safety. When someone cannot pattern you, they hesitate, they watch, they slow down. In that slowing, you gain space. Space is where leverage forms. This is why silence unsettles insecure people. It denies them feedback. It denies them control. And control, not victory, is what they seek. When you stop confronting directly, you also begin to see more clearly. Emotional distance sharpens perception. You notice alliances forming. You notice who speaks after whom. You notice whose name triggers discomfort in a room. You stop reacting to words and start reading incentives. This is the shift from participant to observer, from piece to player. But there is a danger here. Withholding confrontation without internal discipline turns into resentment. Resentment leaks. It changes your tone, your posture, your decisions. Others sense it. They exploit it. Machiavellian restraint is not suppression. It is transmutation. You convert emotional energy into strategic patience. You do not bottle anger. You refine it. The human nervous system is not built for constant restraint. That is why most people fail at this rule. They eventually explode. And when they do, the release is disproportionate. It confirms every suspicion others had about them. It justifies retaliation. Power is not lost in the moment of restraint. It is lost in the moment of uncontrolled release. Those who master this rule develop a different relationship with conflict. They do not fear it, they delay it. Delay changes shape. It allows you to choose timing, allies, and framing. When confrontation finally happens, it no longer feels like confrontation, it feels like consequence. And consequences are harder to argue with than accusations. You will notice another effect. People begin confronting each other on your behalf. They carry your pressure without realizing it. Your silence becomes weight. Your absence from the argument becomes a statement. Others fill the gap. This is influence without visibility, the most efficient form of power. But make no mistake, this is not invisibility cloaked as wisdom. You must still signal boundaries, just not through noise. Boundaries are enforced through consistency, not volume, through outcomes, not warnings. When people cross you and nothing happens immediately, they relax. When something happens later, quietly, decisively, they remember. Memory is stronger than fear. This is how dominance becomes internalized. People regulate themselves around you. They adjust before conflict arises. They sense that pushing further would be costly, even if they cannot articulate why. That is when confrontation becomes unnecessary, not because you are weak, but because the environment has already been shaped. The final stage of this rule is not avoidance, it is elevation. You are no longer reacting within the hierarchy, you are influencing the hierarchy itself. And once that shift occurs, you understand why some people are never challenged openly.
At the highest level, this rule stops being something you use and becomes something you are. You no longer ask yourself whether to confront. The impulse fades. You see confrontation for what it is, a crude tool for those who lack positioning. You move differently now, slower, quieter, with intent. Those who confront openly are still trying to be seen. Those who have power are already felt. By this stage, people reveal themselves to you without pressure. They test subtly and retreat quickly. They speak around you, not at you. They sense that direct conflict with you would not end in resolution, but in rearrangement of roles, of access, of outcomes. You do not threaten this, you embody it. This is the final inversion. You stop needing to win exchanges because you have already won the environment. Your silence is no longer defensive, it is declarative. It says you are not available for impulsive games, that you do not operate on emotional timelines, that if something happens, it will happen on your terms, in your time, and in a form that cannot be reversed. Machiavelli's darkest insight was this: people do not fear those who argue well, they fear those who decide quietly. The mind resists what it can see, it submits to what it cannot predict. When you remove yourself from direct confrontation, you remove yourself from being manageable. You become an unknown variable, and unknown variables force caution. This does not make you moral, it makes you effective. You stop mistaking expression for power. You stop mistaking courage for noise. You understand that restraint is not weakness when it is chosen, it is dominance under control. A blade kept sheathed, not because it is dull, but because it does not need to be shown. There will be moments when confrontation is necessary, but when it comes, it will not look like confrontation, it will look like inevitability. By the time words are spoken, the outcome will already be secured. Allies aligned, options closed, narratives shaped, resistance pointless. This is the difference between reacting and ruling. Most people will never reach this level. They will continue to confront the wrong people at the wrong time, in the wrong way. They will burn energy for emotional relief and call it strength. They will reveal themselves endlessly and wonder why they are always one step behind. That is not your path anymore. You now understand why certain people are never challenged directly, why they move untouched through conflict, why opposition dissolves around them without explanation. It is not luck, it is not charisma, it is discipline, psychological discipline applied without sentiment. This knowledge is not comforting, it is sharpening. It forces you to abandon familiar behaviors. It removes excuses. It demands patience. And patience is the rarest currency in a world addicted to reaction. If you are still listening, it means something in you recognizes this truth, not as theory, but as instinct. This channel is not for everyone. It is for those who choose clarity over comfort, control over catharsis, and power over applause. If you intend to think this way, move this way, and see what others cannot, then you already know what to do next.